Hi there everyone, this is Ben Ambrose at Medical Doorway again. This short presentation is going to focus on Charles University First Faculty of Medicine in Prague, which is actually one of the most popular universities and faculties for students who want to study medicine or dentistry. Now we will briefly discuss the history or kind of highlight some aspects of the history of the first faculty, but this presentation is going to mainly focus on the application and the entrance exam procedures. So if you want more information on the history of the first faculty of medicine, I suggest heading to the Medical Doorway website, medicaldoorway.com, or to the first faculty website and find out a lot more. There's a lot more information there for you to look at if you're still doing your research. Following the discussion about the entrance examination, we'll briefly go over accepting your place and then the process of enrolment and commencing your studies as a student at the First Faculty of Medicine. Now, the faculty was one of the founding members of Charles University, so it can trace its history back to 1348, and it's actually the 11th oldest medical school in the world, as well as being the oldest medical faculty in Central Europe. This, coupled with a central location, means the university is extremely popular. So you need to be aware that if you're applying to the First Faculty of Medicine for dentistry or medical studies, that you will be in competition against many students, and the numbers of applications does outstrip the number of seats available. The university is extremely popular, mainly also because it is recognised all over the world for the quality of medical education. So if you do study on the English language stream of medicine or dentistry, you'll be studying with students from all over the world who are there for one goal: to become a doctor or dentist from one of the world's most prestigious universities. Now, when we said the university is centrally located, it really is centrally located. It's right in the centre of Prague too, on an underground station, IP Pavlova, and within walking distance of the main train station. This means you can get to the faculty very easily from practically anywhere in the world, as Prague Airport is serviced from many airports across Europe, North America, as well as Asia. The first faculty is situated just south of the main tourist area, so just on this map there you'll see Prague 1. Prague 1 is where you find the main tourist sites of Prague, so you'll find that this area of Prague you're going to be in is always busy, there's always things to do and always people around. Now, because of its central location, what you're going to see is that the university and the faculty in this case is not contained into one building. There are a number of buildings all around this area of Prague which belong to the First Faculty of Medicine. And many of the departments of the faculty, some of which are unique in the Czech Republic, will be in different buildings, all in that same area. So the building at the top you'll see, that is actually the study department. So just as you go in that door on the left, you'll find all the administration. So all the documents and all the activity you'll be doing in the initial enrolment period will be there. And further down down the road from that building, you'll find the anatomy department, as well as other departments of the faculty, of which you will have your lectures, as well as doing your seminars, as well as all the research work that goes on in a university like Charles. Now, most students get in contact with us to discuss the actual application process and the entrance examination. And to kind of talk about the entrance exam, it is mandatory, so there's no exemptions for the entrance exam at First Faculty of Medicine. Entrance to the courses is determined on how well you perform on the entrance exam. Now, Medical Doorway is fully authorised to arrange the exams, and we run the exams in the UK, and as we move forward, we're hoping to run them further in other countries further afield. And we run the exams twice every year. We run the exams in April, which comes just before A-level exams happen in May, and in July, once A-level exams are out of the way. This means that if you're an A-level student, you can either take the exams in April or July, depending on when you would prefer. Most A-level students do opt for July, as they like to get their A-levels out the way. If you're a student who doesn't hold a UK, EU or EEA passport, unfortunately you'll have to take the exams in April. You will need to apply for a student visa should you gain admission, and that can take about 3 months. So there's no option of taking the exam in July, because it will just be there won't be just enough time for you to secure a visa should you pass the exam. April tends to be more popular, as I said, with students who want to clear the exams before their A-levels, as well as gap year students, graduates, students on the last year of a degree, as well as obviously students who require a visa. But if you want to take the exams in July after A-levels are finished, they are some of our most popular exams, and we'll run those exams in London. Making the application to the first faculty couldn't be easier. If you head to the Medical Doorway website and navigate to our central application form, the URL is there on the slide, you can complete the application form online, upload a copy of your passport, and you can even use this application form to apply to more than one Czech university. Once the form is submitted, the Medical Doorway team will assess your application and raise an invoice for the entrance exam fee. Once you've paid the entrance exam fee, your place on the exam is confirmed, and you'll get access to our online Czech test prep, which contains hundreds of sample questions to give you an idea of the kind of content that you will encounter when taking the entrance exam. Regarding the entrance exam fee, that is all you will ever pay. There are no additional fees charged by us or by the university on top of your tuition fees. So you will only pay the entrance exam fee. Just look around and be careful when you're looking at different options of how to apply, because sometimes you'll find agencies that are charging multiple fees, and that just really isn't required. So if we focus now on the entrance exam, and then after this slide, there are some samples of the kind of questions that can get asked and how to go about addressing those questions. First thing is that the exam is 2 hours long, and the maximum amount of marks available is 240. At the time of doing this presentation, the pass mark was 190 out of 240, so as you can see, you do have to score highly to secure an offer to study at First Faculty of Medicine. You have to sit 3 papers. First 2, chemistry and biology, are mandatory, and then you've got a choice. You can choose to sit a paper in maths or a paper in physics. If you feel you have the time, you can actually sit both the maths and the physics paper, but only the paper from those 2, which is the highest mark, will contribute to the overall mark to secure the marks required to pass the exam. Now, the exam itself is multiple choice, and all the questions follow the same format. The format, however, may be a little bit confusing if you've not done an exam like this before. There is a question and then 4 answers. In every single question, one of the answers is correct, but in many of them, there could be 2 correct answers, 3 correct answers, or even 4 correct answers. This means that on every single question, there are 4 marks available, and you pick up the marks depending on if you identify the right as well as the wrong answers. So it is possible that where there is only one answer that's correct and you mark that correct answer, that in that case you will get 4 out of 4 for that question. But if there are more than one correct answer, if there's 2, 3 or 4, to get full marks you'd have to determine which are the right and which are the wrong answers. Now that might sound a little bit confusing if you've not seen an exam like this before, so what we've done on the next slide is we've got an example from biology and an example from chemistry, and hopefully that will mean things become a bit clearer. So let's take a look at this example from biology, from a question that could come up in the entrance exam, and let's look at how we would go about answering this question. In this, we are told that the mother of a child has blood group A and her child has blood group O, and what you're required to do is inform the examiners about what blood group the father could be. So we know as the child has blood group O that the child's genotype would be the genotype for O and O because it's recessive, and only someone with 2 such recessive genes can be blood group O, and therefore the mother who has blood group A must have a genotype for A which is dominant, but also carrying the genotype for O which is recessive. So we know if the child's O that the father also has to carry the recessive gene for O, but also at the same time may carry one dominant gene as well. So in this case, the father could be blood group A and also carry the recessive gene for O. The father could be blood group B at the same time as also carrying the recessive gene for blood group O, and could be blood group O himself, and therefore he's carrying both genes that are recessive for O. But he can't be AB. AB would mean that there is codominancy, so he would carry the gene for blood group A and the gene for blood group B being codominant, but therefore couldn't pass on a recessive gene to the child, meaning that the child could not possibly be O. So in this case, the correct answers are blood group A, blood group B, blood group O, and we've marked AB as incorrect in that it's not possible for the father to be AB. So in this case, we have actually correctly identified the correct answers and also identified the incorrect answer, meaning that you will score 4 out of 4, which will go some way towards your pass mark out of the 240 maximum marks. If, however, you got it wrong, then actually you can still score marks. And let's have a look at perhaps another example here from the same question where you may have answered the question incorrectly. So in this case, the question is the same. Mother has blood group A, her child has blood group O, and what you've said is that you've determined that the father has to be blood group O, in that he would carry 2 recessive genes. Now that is correct, he can be blood group O, and you've also marked AB as incorrect. But in this particular question, the possible father's blood groups could also be A or could be O. So out of this, you've marked one of the correct answers correct, you've marked the AB as incorrect, but you've also marked options 1 and 2 incorrect as well. So if you mark the question this way, you'd actually score 2 out of 4. So the biology question was an example of one that has more than one correct answer. Let's look at one where it's quite clear there's only one correct answer. This is taken from chemistry. So perchloric acid is. So you've probably determined from that question that there's probably only one correct answer, because perchloric acid can only, in this case, out of those options, have one chemical formula. So you've got to determine which of those ones is correct. Now, I'm not a chemist, so I had a quick look on Google. So it would appear that perchloric acid's chemical formula is HClO4. So in this case, we've marked HClO, HClO2, HClO3 incorrect, which is correct. They are incorrect, and we've marked HClO4 as correct. So because we've identified the correct answer and also the appropriately marked the incorrect answers incorrect, again, in this particular question, you'll score 4 out of 4. Let's say, for example, you didn't really know, and let's say you had a guess, and let's say you marked this question, the answer to this question, as HClO2, which is incorrect. Because you marked that one incorrect and you didn't identify the correct answer, which is HClO4, you will actually score 2 out of 4. Because you've left HClO blank, or you've marked it as incorrect, and HClO3 as incorrect, you'll pick up marks for leaving those as incorrect. However, you will not pick up the mark for HClO2 because you've incorrectly identified that as the chemical formula, and you've also not identified the correct chemical formula, so you will not pick up the marks for there. So you'll get 2 out of 4 for that. Let's say, for example, you also decided there was more than one correct answer. Let's have a look at what would happen in that case. So in this case, you've marked perchloric acid as having the chemical formula HClO and HClO2. As you probably now figured out, those are actually incorrect. So you've marked those answers as correct, but they're incorrect. You've not identified the correct answer, which is HClO4, but you've left HClO3 blank, or you've left it as incorrect. This will actually mean that you pick up 1 mark out of the 4 for marking HClO3 as incorrect, but obviously you will not pick up the marks for identifying that HClO and HClO2 are also incorrect, and you haven't marked the actual correct answer, so you won't pick up the marks for those 3 options. So I hope those few slides have shed some light onto the entrance examination procedure, and from that you've probably realised you do need to take your time on the entrance exam and determine how many of those answers are indeed correct and incorrect if you're going to maximise the chances of securing the pass mark. But once the exam's over, you'll be pleased to know that your papers are marked on the day of the exam, and you will receive your results on that same day as well. Now, you've got 3 potential outcomes after taking the entrance exam. Hopefully, you've achieved the minimum pass mark, and if you do that, you'll receive a basic interview, which is more as feedback on your entrance exam performance, and after that, you'll receive your offer, usually within 5 days of the entrance exam and the interview. That will come in email as well as through the post, detailing what you've got to do to accept the place at First Faculty of Medicine. If you haven't passed the entrance exam, then you will have the chance to get some feedback and you will be able to find out your marks. This could act as really good feedback in terms of where you're strong and perhaps where you need to develop your knowledge, if you've got any other entrance exams to look forward to, or if indeed you're thinking about applying to First Faculty of Medicine for an academic year in the future. The final the final outcome could be that you're considered a near miss. So you may have actually not passed the entrance exam, but are within a few marks of passing it. In this case, you may be given the chance, and I say may be given the chance to secure an offer by having an oral examination, exploring your knowledge in more depth, for the examiner to determine if you do in fact have the ability to pass the exam and then study at First Faculty of Medicine. If this is the case, you will receive that interview, and again, you will know after that interview whether you've been accepted or not to the faculty. Once you've received your offer documentation, you will then need to accept the offer on the student record system of the university, and more details on how to do this will come to you from the Medical Doorway team. You then have to pay your first year of tuition fees, and there's a deadline set for that. To pay the first lot of fees to the university. So do make sure if you've received an offer and you want to accept it, that you accept the offer online and pay the first year's fees by the deadline date. If you don't do that, you may lose your place at the First Faculty of Medicine. Then you need to book your accommodation. Now you've got two options available. The university does have student dorms, and many students opt for this option either for their first year or even only for a few weeks of the studies. Some students do stay there for the duration of their studies as well. Many students do decide to rent a private apartment in Prague, which can be cheaper than, say, living in many cities in Western Europe and especially in the UK. But because it's the capital city, do be aware that it is more expensive to rent an apartment in Prague than perhaps some of the other cities in the Czech Republic. Many students do decide to visit Prague in advance, and it's so easy to do because the airport is so well serviced from many, many cities. So do get out there, do visit the city, perhaps even look at accommodation options, visit the university, speak to other students, and find out really what it's like being a student at the First Faculty of Medicine. When you're getting ready for your enrolment, we do need to get documents notarized and translated into Czech, and we've got colleagues that we work with in the Czech Republic which are able to do all of that work for us at a significant discount than it would cost if you had it done in the UK. Before you head out to Prague, you will get the chance to come to our Czech pre-departure briefing, which again is completely free of charge for all students. You will there learn about the enrolment procedures, about adjustment to life as an international student, and have the opportunity to meet other students who are going to First Faculty, Second Faculty, Hradec Králové, Palacký University, as well as Masaryk University in Brno. Now, eventually, when you arrive in Prague, the Medical Doorway team, again, will be on site. We'll support you with your enrolment, getting you established in Prague. We'll be there to help you set up bank accounts, get travel cards. Anything you need in those few days, we'll be there to support you, and that is 100% free of charge. And here's a picture of the enrolment, which happened in September 2016. It was a very busy enrolment with a very large group of students enrolling. And then after the enrolment, myself and the Medical Doorway students and parents went for a meal in a restaurant near the university. So the students got to know each other before they started their studies, which are, I do have to say, very intense, especially in the first semester. So I hope that short presentation has given you more information on the selection and the admission procedures for Charles University First Faculty of Medicine. If you need more information, head along to medicaldoorway.com. You'll find a variety of resources there both on the faculty page as well as in our newsfeed that will give you more information. Drop us an email to hello@Medical Doorway if you've got any questions at all, or you can give us a ring in the office. If we're not in the office, the calls do come through to our mobile, so we'll always be able to pick up your call or get back to you very soon. Alternatively, come to the office yourself. We're based in Newcastle-under-Lyme, in the middle of the country, just outside Stoke-on-Trent. So you can come along to book an appointment, come along to the office and speak to us about all the different university options, and in this case, whether First Faculty of Medicine could be the right university for you.